This is the masthead of the American Weekly Mercury, printed on March 2, 1721. Reading this specific document provides a direct cross-section of early American life and the information network that sustained it. The lead international story details a significant political downfall. A former colonial governor is facing a public accounting at the hands of London's highest courts. The legal stakes are laid out clearly in the text. The Crown has leveled a charge of high treason. On page 23, the paper pivots to regional news. A dispatch from New York details a massive wager on a local horse race. Below, the marketplace is on full display, including a notice for the sale of 2 very likely young Negro men. Placing these disparate items side by side reveals how the colonial press functioned. International treason, local gambling, and human trafficking were processed as part of a single continuous stream of data. To understand the political tensions and daily realities of the 1720s, we have to read the source exactly as a colonist would have, as a single ledger, where the high politics of the empire meet the brutal logistics of the local market. The story begins with Robert Lowther, the former governor of Barbados. This antique map shows Barbados divided into its various parishes. As a critical economic hub for the British Empire, the island's management was a matter of direct concern for the Crown. After his tenure, Lowther was recalled to London to face a 2-day hearing before the Lords Justices. The details reached the colonies through a letter from Reverend Dr. William Gordon. To defend his record, Lowther secured prominent legal counsel, but the defense stalled. Gordon reports Lowther's lawyers refused to speak for him, nor did they open their mouths either of the days. Deprived of his counsel's voice, Lowther was forced to argue his own case, delivering his points so confusedly that it further damaged his standing. The central issue was authority. Lowther had attempted to retain control of the government even after receiving official royal orders to step down. The silence of his legal team left Lowther to face the court's judgment without the shield of professional advocacy, highlighting the extreme political risk of his specific defense. The front page provides a dense account of the legal arguments used to dismantle Lowther's position. The text notes the court was amazed at his daring in attempting to justify his conduct. The Crown's legal position was absolute. The act of refusing to deliver the government to a successor was formally classified as high treason. The Lords Justices proceeded to systematically reject the 6 reasons Lowther provided for his actions. The Duke of Argyll provided a direct reprimand, stating that Lowther had assumed an almighty power that a subject simply does not possess. While Lowther faced disgrace, his subordinate, Mr. Cox, whom Lowther had tried to suppress, was officially acquitted with honor. By the end of the trial, Lowther had been abandoned by his allies and left to face just reproaches. This proceeding served as a demonstration of the limits of executive authority. It reminded colonial administrators that their power was a temporary grant from the Crown, not an absolute right. While London debated the limits of imperial power, the northern colonies were occupied by their own local events and competitions. On page 23, a dispatch from New York describes a high-stakes local horse race held on February 24th. The report emphasizes the financial stakes, noting a wager for the sum of £60. The race pitted the inhabitants of Queens County against a prominent merchant, Samuel Bayard. The final report is brief, noting that the merchant gained but little from the event. Further north in Albany, the news was dominated by environmental conditions rather than commerce or sport. The dispatch reports the deepest snow that has been known for many years. Despite this harsh winter, the paper also reports an economic surge on Long Island, with local crews taking 40 whales. These reports, the wagers, the weather, and the harvest, represent a layer of colonial life that continued in parallel to the high-stakes political drama in London. It shows a society preoccupied with its own immediate environment, even as it remained tethered to the legal structures of the empire. The practical foundations of this colonial life are visible in the advertisement blocks of Philadelphia. One notice informs readers that local shopkeepers have officially begun accepting specific copper halfpence and farthings as currency. This King George I coin is the type of physical currency that enabled these daily exchanges. Standardized coinage like this allowed for more predictable trade across the borders of New York, New Jersey, and Rhode Island. The land market was equally active. Below the currency notice, Ebenezer Robinson advertises the liquidation of a brick house in Philadelphia and land in Burlington. Two distinct advertisements placed by the same merchant, John Copson, illustrate the range of this marketplace. In one entry, Copson offers raw materials for local craftsmen, specifically fine Swedish bar iron. In the other entry, located in the same column, Copson advertises the sale of two very likely young Negro men. The newspaper layout treats both entries with the same dispassionate formatting. Raw metal and enslaved people are presented as interchangeable units of commerce. This reflects a system of complete commodification, where the logistics of the slave trade were integrated into the same administrative ledger as real estate and industrial hardware. Viewing the broadsheet as a whole reveals the scope of the information available to a colonist in March 1721. The paper spans from the rigid legal limits of imperial power debated in London to the environmental challenges and local wagers of the northern provinces, and down to the transactional realities of the Philadelphia market. The American Weekly Mercury was a comprehensive record of a colonial society defined by both its grand political philosophy and its uncompromising commerce. Thank you for watching.
The Daily Dispatch